Hello, Subwisers. Have you ever wondered why we hold the fork in our left hand and the knife in our right? It seems so natural now, but it wasn't always that way. Back in ancient times, and even through most of the Middle Ages, people ate with their hands. The right hand was considered clean and respectable, and the left hand, well, it was usually reserved for less pleasant tasks. So yes, using your left hand at the table was kind of a no-go. Then comes the fork. It arrived in Europe from Byzantium somewhere between the 11th and 14th centuries. At first, it was seen as fancy, or even a bit effeminate, and not everyone was thrilled about it. But as hygiene and elegance became more important during the Renaissance, forks slowly caught on. By the 17th and 18th centuries, etiquette books had clear rules. Knife in the right hand, fork in the left. Why? The right hand controls the knife. It's stronger and safer for cutting. The left hand stabilizes the food with the fork. Simple, practical, but over time it also became a sign of elegance. At first, people would just use the fork to hold the food, then switch it to the right hand to eat. But constantly switching hands was eventually considered impolite. So the rule evolved. Fork stays in the left hand from plate to mouth. Old ideas about the left hand being unclean? Completely reversed. Completely. Interestingly, there's still a cultural twist today. European or British style keeps the fork in the left hand throughout the meal. American style, you cut with the knife in your right hand, then switch the fork to your right hand to eat. Even dining habits show how culture shapes our routines. So, the next time you pick up your fork with your left hand, remember, it started as a leftover taboo from hand-eating days. The fork made it practical. Etiquette made it elegant, and today we do it without thinking. Anthropologists call this ritual transformation. What was once forbidden can become a symbol of refinement. Pretty cool, right? Cultural norms often grow from practical needs, and sometimes centuries later, we're still following them, holding our forks just the way tradition, efficiency, and a little elegance taught us. Think about the last time you clinked glasses with someone. That simple little cheers feels so natural today. But the story behind it is way more fascinating than you might expect. Back in medieval and Renaissance Europe, people didn't just clink glasses for fun. One theory says it was about poison. When two cups slammed together hard enough, the drinks would spill into each other. If someone had slipped poison into your cup, well, now they'd be drinking it too. The harder the smash, the safer you felt. So in those days, a toast wasn't polite and delicate. It was loud, bold, and a little dangerous. The clash of cups was a statement. I'm strong, I'm brave, and I trust you with my life. Among knights and nobles, it even became a show of courage and status. But over time, that violent crash turned into the gentle clink we know today. Why? Because the sound itself became the heart of the ritual. That clear, ringing tone, clink, is more than just pretty. Psychologists say our brains tag it as a signal. Something special is happening, something worth celebrating. It pulls our attention into the moment. And there's more. Social psychology studies show that sharing this ritual actually strengthens bonds. Just like a handshake or a hug, clinking glasses says, we're in this together. It's a tiny act of trust, but it makes the group feel closer, warmer, more connected. And of course, there's the word itself, cheers. In Old English, cheer meant joy, courage, or good spirits. So when we say it today, we're still carrying that meaning forward, wishing each other happiness and confidence in the moment. So what started as a rough and practical way to prove your drink wasn't poisoned has transformed into something beautiful and symbolic. From fear and suspicion to joy, trust, and celebration. That single word, that tiny clink, is a ritual that's been shaping human connection for centuries. Cheers to that. Every time we blow out birthday candles, we make a wish and watch the smoke rise. It might feel simple, but this little act actually has roots that go back thousands of years, and science shows it can have real effects on our brain. In ancient Greece, People dedicated round cakes with candles to Artemis, the moon goddess. They believed that blowing out the candles would carry a wish upwards. Today, we may not think about gods, but the act of focusing on a wish is basically the same. The Romans used smoke in their rituals too. When they burned incense or sacrifices, the smoke acted as a symbol, a way of giving something invisible a visible form. That's a key part of what makes rituals feel powerful, turning an abstract hope into something tangible. Across cultures, from Jewish temples to Hindu temples, from shamanic traditions in North America to simple incense rituals in Ottoman mosques, smoke was a way to make our intentions visible, almost like a bridge between what we feel inside and the world outside. And here's the cool part. Psychologists say rituals like blowing out a candle actually work on our brain. Even a few seconds of focused intention can give little bursts of optimism, reduce anxiety, and reinforce our sense of control. Our brain treats small symbolic acts like this as a real signal. We're doing something proactive, even if it's just a tiny wish. So next time you light and blow out a candle, remember, you're participating in a ritual humans have been doing for millennia. The candle, the smoke, the focus on a simple intention. It's all a way to make hope visible and tangible. And your brain actually likes it. In other words, a tiny puff of smoke isn't just tradition. It's a little tool we've used for centuries to spark positivity, focus our minds, and give our hopes a shape we can see. Science may call it psychology, but humans have known it instinctively for thousands of years. Think about the last time you shook someone's hand. It probably felt so natural, you didn't even think about it. But this simple gesture actually has a history stretching back thousands of years. The earliest depictions of handshakes go all the way back to the 9th century BC in Assyrian carvings. Back then, shaking hands meant something very clear. I'm not carrying a weapon. I come in peace. It was also a symbol of friendship and alliance. Fast forward to the Middle Ages in Europe. Knights would clasp hands and even shake them up and down to make sure no hidden daggers were tucked away. That's actually where the word handshake comes from, literally shaking the other person's hand to check. By the 17th and 18th centuries, the handshake had transformed. Instead of bowing or tipping your hat, shaking hands became a sign of equality. No one was higher or lower. Both parties met at the same level. It was simple, democratic, and caught on fast. And today, the handshake is everywhere, in business deals, first meetings, even sports. Though of course it varies by culture. In many Asian countries, bowing is still more common. But in the Western world, a handshake has become the default hello. So why does it matter so much? Science gives us some clues. Trust signal. When two people touch hands, the brain releases oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone. That's why a handshake can instantly make someone feel more trusting and connected. Grip strength. Too limp and it signals insecurity or disinterest. Too crushing and it feels aggressive. The ideal handshake? Firm but not painful. A perfect balance between strength and friendliness. Warmth effect. Research shows that a warm hand is laterally perceived as more welcoming. That's why we talk about a warm handshake. Temperature really does shape perception. Eye contact and timing. 2 to 3 seconds with steady eye contact sends the strongest signal of confidence and reliability. Any shorter feels dismissive. Any longer, just awkward. So, a handshake isn't just a casual greeting. Thousands of years ago, it meant, I'm unarmed. Later, it became a sign of equality and respect. And today, it's a subtle but powerful way to communicate who you are, your confidence, your warmth, and your intentions, all in just a few seconds. It's amazing how something so simple can carry such a deep history and such powerful psychology. Next time you hit that little thumbs up button on YouTube, remember, you're part of a tradition that started almost 2,000 years ago, back when a simple thumb could decide if someone lived or died. In the Roman Colosseum, gladiators fought for survival. The crowd, along with the emperor, held the power of judgment. But here's the twist. They didn't use words. They used their thumbs. The gesture was called pollis verso. A raised thumb could mean spare him, or in some accounts, finish him. A turned thumb, often interpreted as down, meant death. Historians still debate the exact meanings, but one thing is clear. The fate of a human life could hinge on a flick of the thumb. Now here's the wow moment. The same gesture you use to like a video today once carried the weight of life and death in ancient Rome. Over centuries, as the gladiatorial games disappeared, the thumb began to evolve into a gentler, friendlier signal. In the Middle Ages, it morphed into a sign of agreement or sealing a deal. By the Renaissance, art and literature used the thumb to symbolize approval, courage, and even protection. In short, what started as a brutal judgment turned into a universal shorthand for "we're good." Here's where science kicks in. When you see someone flash a thumbs up, your mirror neurons fire, the same brain cells that make you smile when someone smiles. Your brain associates it with positive social bonding. On social media, every like you give or receive triggers a tiny dopamine release. That's your brain's reward system saying, "Nah, nice, someone approves of me." This is why even a simple emoji can make you feel connected, validated, and motivated. Fast forward to today. YouTube's little thumbs up isn't just a button. It's the digital heir to a ritual humans have carried for centuries. In Rome, it judged life and death. In medieval villages, it sealed deals. In modern psychology, it spreads trust and positivity. And on YouTube, it supports creators, builds communities, and keeps the ancient ritual alive with far less bloodshed. So yeah, every time you drop a like, you're not just helping a creator, you're tapping into a tradition as old as gladiators, as powerful as human connection, and as modern as the internet itself. So you know what to do.